So this is gonna be a little bit different of a review, just because one, I don't usually do reviews when I'm not done with the book. Um, but I don't think with this type of book, I'm on page 257, 317. I don't think my opinion is really going to change on it. And this is more of a discussion piece about what this is instead of what it's about in the actual book itself. So I've been going on kind of a cozy fantasy journey. Like, because I really love slice of life anime. Like, it's like one of my favorite genres besides shoujin. Um, is it shogun? Like One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, all those. I think it's shogun. I think shoujin. I like both of them. I like I like the romance anime and I like the adventure, like One Piece. Like the big three. And so what I'm trying to figure out is like, why don't I like it in novel form? And I think I finally figured it out. Three books I'm gonna lightly touch on is Legends and Lattes. I would like to say The Wishing Game, and then Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies is gonna be one I'm gonna touch on. I think the issue with all three of these is the level of stakes. I think when it comes to fantasy, like, you need to have some type of stakes, even if it's... I feel like Legends and Lattes does do this very well, where, sorry guys, I need to take my hair down. Where, she still has competition, and she's still worried about people, like, coming after her. If I remember the story, it's been a while since I've read Legends and Lattes. I could be wrong about all that, but, like, there's still little stakes. The Wishing Game did not have any stakes. You feel like it has stakes, like, through the whole thing, and then by the end of the book, you're like, well, that was pointless. This is just her trying to find fairies, and her relationship with her, Wendell. Wendell is hers. They don't really, like, minus the fact that he's kind of obnoxious and she doesn't really like him for the most part. Not really too much stakes. I feel like even Hallmark movies have more stakes than these books do, because it's mostly just like day-to-day life. And the best example of an anime is The Restaurant from the Other Side, which is about a guy that runs a restaurant. It's both in the human world, and then at night he there's a door that opens in this fantasy world, and then he has like a whole bunch of fantasy creatures and knights and stuff that come in when they need to get food. And like all their names are based off of the food that they first had when they came in. And that to me is a very cozy fantasy. Like, they're having stakes over there, but when they come to this restaurant, there's a couple of people that debate and stuff, but it's mostly you come to this restaurant for peace because the other side is, having some sort of conflict, or you're hungry or something like that. But with these books, I feel like they're like too cozy. Like, we would not, like, I personally would not mind if there was a lot more stakes in these books. Like, have some conflict. It's okay to have conflict. Like, okay, I don't, like, this is not grim dark literature. Like, you don't have to Game of Thrones this, okay? Like, I understand that, but, like, it's okay, like, if, her and Wendell want to have arguments, or Legend and Lattes, maybe she's already found out, and she has to deal with that conflict. Or in the wishing game, I don't want to spoil the wishing game. So it's a very Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. If you've ever seen that movie or read the book, you kind of understand what I'm trying to say about the wishing game. But not everything has to be so cookie cutter. Like, even Disney, which to me is very, very cozy, because it's like, you watch a Disney movie, you know it's going to end happily. Like, even though, like, for example, in Lion King, Simba goes through all that traumatic experience when he's younger. Like, by the end, he's going to get what, his goal is. Like, for the most part, I don't know if his goal was to ever become king of Pride Rock. You think, because he sings a whole song about it, that's what he wants. But it's like, by the time he becomes an adult, like, you still want that. But if that's still what he wants, that's where he ends up at the end. Like, it's a very... And that's what I more consider cozy, is, like, you have stakes, but there's some type of conflict that's holding you back from your dreams. And that's kind of what I more consider cozy than just, like, there's no stakes at all. Like, everybody gets what they want. Nobody had to fight for anything. Because even, like, in something like Alice in Wonderland, like, she now has to escape from Wonderland at the end, and then she learns, and I feel like the learning the lesson is also kind of, I know I'm, like, mentioning a lot of kids' films, but a lot of kids' films are really considered really cozy, because it's like, there's a formula. There's a formula, like, like, it's gonna have a happy ending. If it's a kids' movie, there's about 99.9% of the time it's gonna have a happy ending. Like, we know that. And, like, I know Emily Wilde's probably going to write her Encyclopedia of Fairies. Like, that's, like, I wouldn't be surprised, because this is in journal entries. I'm not planning on reading any more into this. I'm gonna just finish whatever pages I have left and call it a day. But yeah, I'm not liking it. I would give it like a 3-star. Like, it's fine. Like, it's enjoyable. If it was ever a movie, I would probably watch the movie and probably enjoy the movie more. And that's how I felt about Legends and Lattes too. Like, I felt like it was a 3-star book, but I'm like, if it was an anime, I would eat this up, no problem. Because it's like, you're seeing them making the food. You're seeing all this stuff. Like, you're seeing the relationship build. And, like, this is in, I think Norway or Sweden. Like, a really pretty country. I would love to see this in a film. Like, I don't care if it's an animated, anime, live action. Like, I wouldn't care. Like, I just think this would make, like, either, like, a short series, because that's been really big right now, or a movie. But I think that would be better than, what this book is giving me. I don't know, because, like, the other authors that are, like, talking about this book, I'm like, I think you have higher stakes in your books, but I haven't read any of them, so can't tell you. Yeah, and I think anime does that so well because it's a visual medium. So, like, you can have a conversation in anime, like, two people sitting at, a coffee shop having coffee, but you can see everything around you a lot easier. Like, I can't, and I think another thing is, like, I can't visualize this world. Like, I think some of it's very flowery, and prosy, and the author Heather Fawcett is like trying to put you in this world, but I'm not, you know, just not feeling like in the world. Um so I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Like I said, if it was a movie, I'd probably go see it. Probably enjoy my time. Um I feel like even so I'm a big Virgin River and Still Magnolias are like my dramas that I get really excited when they come back to Netflix. But those have very, very high stakes. I think they're dramas, but I think they're supposed to be more on the cozier side. I put them as like um not necessarily like Hallmark entertainment, because to me they're a little bit darker than Hallmark entertainment. I know Hallmark entertainment can be really sad and everything, but um they seem a lot more like they deal with like heavier topics than Hallmark does sometimes. Maybe more on a Lifetime level. Um but yeah, I still consider them pretty cozy. Like, you kind of have a feeling like who's going to end up together. And then if you're like rooting for that couple, they usually end up together. And I like romance wise, because that's kind of where you get like the cozy part of it. Like, you know who's going to end up together. Like, it's not, and you're cheering for them to end up together. Like, and I think that's like my thing too, is like the couple is not something like I'm really superly rooting for in this book and in the other books as well. Like, I think they're cute, but I'm not really rooting for you. And I don't read a lot of romance. A lot of actually the romance I read is pretty dark. I think the lightest I really do read is probably like a Sarah J. Maas. And to me, those are very high conflict, just because they are like more like on the fairy tale, like they're fairies and there's a lot of war. So I feel like there is a lot of conflict. Plus, I feel like the characters go through a lot even before they get into relationships. So when it comes to romance, like I don't really have a cookie cutter way of like really describing romance, especially in books. Like, it's not like I've went out and read like a Allie Hazelwood or your um Emily Henry, like all of those. Like, it's like I haven't really experienced those, and that's to me that's what this is. This is a cozy romance. This is not like a fantasy romance where it's like you have like the steamy. There's not much there's if there's steam, like it might be at the end of the book, but so far there hasn't been really like steamy scenes in this. So that's like kind of where I'm getting like the Hallmark. I think Lifetime maybe might have some steam, but haven't seen a Lifetime movie forever as either way. So like when you're comparing it to stuff like that, I actually no, because they Allie Hazelwood. I think some of those actually do have some steamy scenes, but to me they're kind of a little bit more on the cozy end. Like, like the couple's probably gonna end up together. Like, it's very much like the old, like early 1990s, 90s, like romantic movies where you knew the two leads were gonna get together, even though you have the third act breakup thing. I think that's where that got really big, maybe in the 80s too, where it's like you know you're gonna have the third act breakup, it's gonna be so dramatic, and then at the end that they're gonna get back together. Um, I I like those in movies. I like a lot of romantic I guess they're called romantic comedies. I like a lot of them. I haven't watched one forever. Like, I don't think I've seen a modern romantic comedy for I think there was one with like maybe Reese Witherspoon or something I saw. I can't even think who else was in it. Where they switched cities. I think it was on Netflix, but yeah, I don't think it's my thing. If you like down in the comments, I know we've been talking for a while. If you guys have any suggestions on cozy fantasy that has a little bit higher stakes that you think I might like, you can always list them down below and I'll read them. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not digging it. Um, and that's okay. I might still keep on trying depending on if I see somebody. I know a lot of people did like this. Legends and Lattes is based off of the reviews from people that I watch personally. Um Divine Rivals I think is also kind of put in this category. I know that's set in World War II with the gods and everything. I read that as well and I didn't like it. I'm glad I read it. I listened to it on an audio, but it still wasn't my thing. Legends and Lattes, read, didn't really like that too much. Wishing Game, read, didn't really like it. So like I feel like when I'm like watching somebody reviewing this, like they either really like these books or really are like, I needed stakes. And that's what I feel like with cozy fantasy is that we don't have it's very much a mixed reception of like who's gonna like it, who's not. Like they're all well written. That's something I have to say about these cozy fantasies is that the writing wasn't my problem and the relationships were okay. I think especially with Legends and Lattes, like she was trying what's the guy? The author was trying to push everything to one book. Like I didn't think I don't think he wanted to write any more than just Legends and Lattes. So everything was a little bit more rushed than I think like an Emily Wilde where I think there's 2 or 3 books. I think it's a trilogy. I don't think it's a duology. I think it's a trilogy. But you can kind of tell like there's a little bit more character building in this book. The Wishing Game was really rushed too, but I think again it's just like she's trying to write just a single book, be done, write like a full story in like 300 pages. And I think with cozy fantasy as well is that's the type of writing that's okay because you know, I don't think there's really any reason to go further than maybe 2 or 3 books with these characters. Like, I think, like, this makes sense because I'm guessing probably at the end of this book, like, we could kind of lean into the next book. And then it's like she meets. I think what the order is like I think she meets the fairies, finds out there's like this whole fairy world, and she wants to map it. Is probably what the other book is about. But people I trust that liked this book that have read the second one just say it's more of the same. So I'm like, okay, like worst comes to absolute worst, I will maybe listen to it on audio, but I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. Um it's okay for other people. Like if you like sorry guys, if you like these books, like all the power to you. I just haven't found one I've particularly liked. Um Sentence of a Bookworm is like another like kind of cozy um one. I wouldn't call it completely cozy. It just depends on like I would say it's cozy, but there's a twist to it. Um but I just think anime and manga is doing it so much better. Because they've done slice of life for a really long time. Like, even I feel like, even though Sailor Moon is about girls that have magic powers and stuff, I still feel like there's a heavy slice of life element to it. You've had the Persona series that's very slice of life. I wouldn't consider Persona cozy. I would consider it slice of life, which I don't think slice of life is necessarily cozy. It's just, it's about somebody's day-to-day life. So, which a lot of like American TV, I feel like when you're going through something like that, like teenagers going through their like day-to-day life, for the most part, like there's drama in there, but it's not like there's heavy stakes in every episode. Unless you have One Tree Hill, like that town needs to get it together or something. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I still kind of in some ways consider One Tree Hill cozy. Like, you kind of knew who was gonna kind of end up together. Like, they set that up somewhat in the first season, to really be honest. And the stakes, especially with Lucas and then the Brooke and Peyton stuff, like, you kind of knew how that was gonna go down in some ways. Yeah, I might talk about some One Tree Hill stuff because I love that show so much. I've seen it, I think, all the way through like 3 or 4 times, but it's like another, like, anything like you can cuddle up with a blanket, throw on, like, you're not worried about like the characters' lives or anything. I would consider cozy. I mean, I'm demented and think, Game of Thrones is cozy, but that's because I've seen it so many times. I know, yeah, I'm like, yep, that's gonna be coming here soon, but I know everybody else's definition is probably not that. And it's kind of like cozy games, like Animal Crossing and stuff like that. Like, when I think cozy, like, that's what I think of. I even like go as far as like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, like those are really cozy too, because anything that that it's gonna end happily ever after, I would consider cozy. Like, there's stakes, but it's gonna end up happily at the end. I would consider cozy. Definite, and that's kind of how I take like these books that, in the slice of life anime, is that, like, it's going to end up being okay. But other than that, guys, like and subscribe if you want to. I'm gonna post this on Thursday, I think, just because I do, kind of talk about anime, manga. It's kind of a mix of both. So, and I already have so many videos coming out on Sundays, so I need some more Thursday videos. So I think I'm gonna pop this one. I'm hoping my next video is probably gonna be Psychopaths for anime manga. If you guys are interested in that, I'm hoping to get that video up very soon. I haven't even filmed it yet. But I'm hoping, because I really did like that one. I thought it was a very, very good anime. So I'm hoping to get that to you guys real soon. But otherwise, bye.